Greetings, people of the internet. It is I, Scrawny, coming at y'all with a predictions video. Shout out to pickstop.gg. That's right, pickstop.gg have sponsored this video ahead of IEM Cologne. We're going to be doing 3 Pickstop videos, one for each stage of Cologne. It's the biggest event of ESL's calendar every year. For all we know, this is the final CSGO S-tier event that we can ever watch. Okay, you want to get involved. And so if you go to pickstop.gg, you can make some predictions. You can go to their leagues page. You can join the House of Scrawny, which is my league, where you can compete head to head with me. You can join Maui Snake's league. You can join Nero's league. I believe Maniac maybe has a league. We want the best league. So that's why I'm coming to you guys, my YouTube viewers, in order to go flood the pickstop.gg picks, in order to go head-to-head with me and rise ourselves up as a community to be known as the king of predictions, baby. And if you are successful in your predicting endeavors, well, the guys at Pickstop have been busy. As you can see here on the left side of the screen, we've got trophies now. So for the majors, for the Colognes, for the Katowices, if you were a top percentile of successful predictor, well then all of a sudden you've got yourself a fancy little trophy to put on your profile, and all your friends will think that you are the coolest guy in the server. So without further ado, let's jump into the play-in stage of IEM Cologne with pickstop.gg. Now, I already accidentally submitted my results, so ignore what you see on screen. I'm going to go back through my opening games. This is opening best of ones and then best of threes in the upper finals to qualify for Cologne. If you lose your best of one, it's 2 best of threes in order to make it to the main event. There are only 8 spots on the line. I may skip some of these matches in order to return to them because I think they're tight. Others will be blowouts. Maus versus Mongols. I'm sorry, Mongols, but this is no longer Katowice 2023. We are 6 months later, and you are buns. Maus will win this. I like their new pickups. I love Shuhei. I have always been a Shuhei stan ever since seeing him in the We Play Academy League. I think he's going to get more out of Torzi. I think he's going to elevate the frag department above that of which Dexter was ever able to offer. And this Jimpat kid is kind of the real deal. I haven't seen a lot of Jimpat, and I do worry if he'll be able to, transition his success onto LAN. But if he does, Maus will be a force to be reckoned with, and Mongols, they ain't gonna be able to handle that heat. Into the Breach is a team that I think, in terms of roster changes throughout the player break, have failed. Ninjas in Pajamas, with a week of practice, 2 weeks of practice basically here at the Blast Fall Groups, will be coming in hotter than ITB could ever hope to be, and so it is Maus versus Ninjas in this upper final. Between Maus and Ninjas, we'll come back to that, make you wait. Complexity and Fnatic. Now, Fnatic, I'm surprised they lost Nikadaz, I'm not going to lie, even though he kind of was tapering off a little bit. But I think Fnatic have some roster issues now. Afro doesn't have the most amount of games played versus Tier 1 opposition, and we're talking about a complexity that looked very good with Elige. Elige is a win condition in and of himself. I think that Elige's inclusion has been helping Floppy in certain regards, and Hulzerk had a quiet start at Blast, but he's already starting to gear up. Between Fnatic and Complexity, I'm going to go Complexity. I think that it's a best of one. Anything could happen. This is a tough game to call because I just really don't have a finger on Fnatic, especially with Mezzi giving in-game leadership over to Dexter. Maybe that makes Mezzi so much better. Mezzi is already somebody you have to consider as an individual, but I think Cole will take them. 9 beats OG. I'm sorry, I love Regali. I think that it's really cool OG have given him a chance as an AWPer to shine, but he doesn't have the star potential to simply carry on his own. And even in the past when they had Dexter, it took a rifler like Flamesy to keep this team afloat. OG are one of the most uninspiring new teams of this season, and I will write them off because 9 already have some officials in. They played the Gamers 8 qualifier online, and even though Hades didn't come out swinging, I think Kai will be key to their success. He does struggle at LANs. It happened at Rio. It happened at the Major. If it happens again in Cologne, then maybe Goofy or Kylar will pick up that slack. Maybe Hades does indeed get the ball rolling once they're on LAN. But I think 9 are kind of like this dark horse at the play-in because people forget about how good they were at certain parts of the last season. They tapered off, but they didn't make changes. and I think that stability will bode well for 9. If Big were playing with their Blast roster, I would have more faith in them. But Apex have made a roster move I think they can bounce back from relatively easy. I don't know anything about Kakanito, but I know you've still got Kixan, you've still got Nock, you've still got Jacob, you've still got Stiko. You have the core of that team, a team that in a very impressive fashion took it as deep as they did in Paris. And Big, they're playing with Sensei instead of Montu. They're playing with now like 2 academy players plus a stand-in because the Big academy team qualified through the Meisterschaft, and then the main Big roster took this. There's some weird stuff going on in that Big camp, and I'm giving this one to Apex. I always underrate them. I always fail to predict the Apex win, and so this time I'm giving them the edge. Even though BlameF and Device are good players, and even though I think Stare has incredible potential and could be right there with Device and BlameF given a little bit more time, Stare has been inconsistent out of the gate at Blast. Buzz has better roles and has a slight uptick, but I don't think him and Borup are quite there yet. And I love the stability, the solid state that Liquid have entered this season with. Rainwaker is staying alive inside bomb sites. That always gives just one extra player for Liquid to make their retakes happen, seemingly. Yakinder has been bogged down a little bit, but Patsy is just as able to take that aggressive rifling from Yakinder, which means Yakinder almost has a mirrored version of himself to send forward and to accomplish the things that Yakinder wants to at the start of rounds in order for him to call the way he wants. Naf looks sick. OC looks sick. And I'm not even talking about a playoff game, but a group stage. And OC's form looks awesome. So between Astralis and Liquid, I'm going NA, baby, and you can't convince me otherwise. At the bottom of the list, we've got Furia and Greyhound. This is an opening best of 1. I think that pound for pound, Furia are coming in with an upgrade. Okay, Cello is better than Drop. Fallen is better than Safe. I said it. Which version of Furia are we going to get? How will Fallen call out of the gate? Can Art actually implement himself into this team and be a positive force to be reckoned with? I hope so. And I hope so in a best of 1 versus Greyhound. But I wouldn't write off Greyhound entirely. They did have a decent Dallas showing where they almost took down a dying Team Liquid. But I just think Furia are one of those rosters I consider as coming in with positive changes. Monty will beat Imperial because Monty, even though they lost Boros, I still believe in Sumdai Young, Waro 2K, and Demka to some degree. Demka had an uptick in the first part of 2023. That core, much like Apex, is enough to defeat an Imperial that have just lost the brains of their operation. Let's go do the losers games. Get the fat out of the way. Mongols versus ITP. Who cares? Mongol. ITB because they're from Europe. Yeah, we'll let that one slide. Fnatic versus OG. Again, OG just don't inspire me. In a best of 3, I'm going to give this to Fnatic. I still believe in their pieces more so than anything. You know, Crims is stable. Like I said, Mezzi is supposed to be unleashed, and maybe Roy can get his form back because he is having a terrible 2023 compared to his 22 stats. But all in all, I don't see the win conditions for OG. I really don't. I'm sorry. I want to like this team, but they have nothing that inspires me to predict them. I'll take Astralis over Big because Stare will have at least 1 good map per series. Device, BlameF, consistencies, and Big, it's like a stand-in situation. I just can't give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to shout out Greyhound versus Imperial because Vexite, solid. He is the best player in the server, I think, in that situation. Maybe Joda has a crazy pop-off and carries Imperial. Maybe Bolts could end up being a problem. But I think without Fallen there, Imperial have to reinvent themselves in a way. And I just don't think I believe in it. Greyhound have good amounts of experience throughout the year, and that experience will prevail. As we scroll back up, we need to select our first 4 main event qualifiers. Between Mouse and NIP, I give this to Mouse. I really believe in these roster changes. I think Mouse have done themselves really well coming into the second half of this year. I believe Frozen is going to go lights out because he has Shuhei now, who, again, I believe in more than I ever did Dexter. I'm sorry. And Ninjas in Pajamas have just been kind of throwing rounds. It doesn't seem like they're just too inconsistent for me to predict in that head-to-head. I could see the Ninjas stealing this best of 3. I don't think Maus are a total guarantee, but I'm putting that stock in them, even though they cost me as much as they did in the first half of the year. 9 over Complexity. Why? Because I think Hades is the better opper. All right? 9's LAN issues could be cause for concern. I think this is a pretty 50-50 game, if I'm being entirely honest, and I've been predicting Complexity over Ninjas here at Blast, so it's not like I have no faith in Cole, but I just think that 9 are going to be the dark horse, and this is that line of predictions that I'm going to use to look back on and point at when I claim to be smarter than all of you. I'm going to say, look what I called with 9. If I'm wrong, forget about this. If I'm right, don't you ever forget. Apex versus Liquid. I never predict Apex. I really don't, and I probably should. I just don't get to see enough of them because they're a non-partnered team. But I'm going to go ahead and predict Liquid because I'm from North America, and they won't let me back in the country if I stop believing in Liquid, even though they're now a European team. Okay? We gave Europe twists. We've given Europe NAF. Accept my residency card, please. Allow me to live in the Shenzhen area. Thank you. In all reality, Apex are dealing with losing JL. This is a tight game that I think Liquid could definitely end up losing, but Liquid have topped their blast groups, and I think we have to give that credit. I just like the new additions. Patsy and Rainwaker make sense, even though the public opinion was kind of questioning this Rainwaker pickup and kind of this out of nowhere decision. I think that the talent scouts at Liquid have done a really good job with this one, and I think that on paper, now that I've seen a little bit of Liquid, the roles all make sense. Naf and OC have come out swinging, and Patsy returning to the form he showed us on Spirit. When you look at the kill differential in Liquid in their games, it's promising. Promising enough to give them a win over Apex. I think Furia best Monty. Even though I'm putting some stock in Monty, it's the same, I'm going to take the favorites between Liquid and Furia over Monty and Apex. I think that both Monty and Apex, for the record, will still qualify for the main event, depending on their opponent down below. I think that they could also both cause upsets here. Furia and Liquid are not total shoo-ins, but their roster moves have made the most sense. They're not coming in with unproven entities, really. Rainwaker is the least proven player of these two teams between Liquid and Furia, and I like what I see right away. So, the final 4 spots. I'm giving this to Monty. I'm writing off ITB. Like I said, just can't believe in that one, right? Like contrasting Apex and Monty to ITB, I can still believe in the cores of their Paris success. I can't do that with the ITB camp. I apologize. Fnatic are going to have early problems to the start of this season, and Apex are going to continue with the success they left off with at Paris. They can bounce back from losing JL, and they will bounce back when they beat Fnatic, assuming they don't qualify by taking down Liquid. And of course, if Liquid loses to Apex, I think Liquid best Fnatic in this one as well. Either way, Apex and Liquid are both qualifying. I feel very certain with that prediction. I'm going to take Ninjas in Pajamas over Greyhound. I don't think Vexite can do it on his own, and NIP have the opping edge in this one. Headtrick has had some really good maps so far this season already, even though we're very, very, fresh off the press. Which leaves us with Complexity versus Astralis. Oh, I hate to predict against Device and Blame F, and so I won't. Sorry, NA. Sorry, Elige. Sorry, Floppy. I just think that Astralis are going to get this figured out. I think that Buzz's roles and positioning looks better under BlameF's in-game leadership. BlameF has also called some good games already. Yes, they lost to Big, but it was by the skin of their teeth. If Stare can be just slightly more consistent, and I'm not talking 25 every game, I'm just saying 2 maps out of 3 in a best-of-3 series. In all reality, this one's going to come down to a nail-biter, I think. Complexity or Astralis either one of them could steal it. But I'm going to go against my heart and against my soul, sell myself to the European devils, and take Astralis in this. So Monty, Apex, Astralis, Ninjas in Pajamas, Furia, Liquid, 9, and Maus. These are the 8 teams I predict to be making it to Cologne through the play-in. make sure you guys go to pickstop.gg to get your predictions in. Join the House of Scrawny, and let me see what you got. I'll be doing another Pickstop video once we have the play-in to group transition and then group to playoffs as well. As always, guys, thank you for your time, attention, likes, comments, and maybe even shares. See you guys in the next episode, not too long from now.